Great. We are recording. So, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. We are taping this for posting a little bit later, but I'm really excited tonight because I have two great facilitators on this call with me this evening. Uh, I'm Sonia Folayon, and if this is your first time on this channel, this is a Mind and Mana channel on YouTube. Here we talk about issues that center the voices of Black women, mature Black women who want to improve their finances so that they can level up to a more intentional way of life that includes freedom, rest, travel, and ease. Please, if you like what we're talking about, subscribe to this channel. Please like and share, and we really love to see your comments. Tonight, I have two great guests who I'm going to have introduce themselves in a few moments. Just wanted to say that this broadcast we're going to repurpose it and post it on our your soft landing at Sojourners Vista del Lago, which is our B&B in San Nicolas de Ibarra, Mexico. It will also be on my YouTube channel, Mind and Mana. It will also be on Savvy Soldier, her channel, which is and Savvy Soldier is the co-living diva. We're also going to repurpose some of this information for the Embodiology website, and we're really excited to talk to you tonight about what embodiology embodies, what it's about, and why we think it's important. Um, the last thing I wanted to say is we also want to let you know that we are planning an amazing retreat in February, from February 21st to 27th, 2025, here in beautiful Chapala, Mexico. We have a host of things that are planned, but everything is centered around rest, restoration, and embodying the rest that we need as part of our self-care. And to that end, this year we are delighted to employ the practice of embodiology as practice for this retreat. We're very, very excited about it. So, with that being said, what I'm going to do now is we're going to have Savvy Jones introduce herself first. We're going to be followed by Deirdre Lavelle, who is going to be our embodiology practitioner. And then I'll say a few words about myself. So, Savvy, please share with us who you are.
Hello, everyone. Hola. I am Savity Jones, your co-living diva, and I currently am in the US. However, I live in Chapala, Jalisco, Mexico. I've been living there since the 2021, November of 2021, when Sonia invited me to come and check out a co-living arrangement that she and two other beautiful women were in. So that is part of my life. My YouTube channel is Savvy Soldier, and I really talk about the importance of rebranding yourself prior to retirement so that you have some type of a side hustle that can help supplement your pension, your veterans benefits, your social security, because in and of itself, those items are not going to be enough to live the luxurious life that you want and deserve in your latter years. So we talk about some options on what it is that you can do to do that. And one of the things is to consider co-living. It has a lot of benefits to your health, to your financial pocket, to your growth and development, especially if you're considering living abroad. I am the co-founder with Sonia for our bed and breakfast, which is Sojourners Vista del Lago, which she mentioned earlier, that is in San Nicolas de Ibarra. And we are also the co-founders of Jumpstart Your SOULjourn. And this year, you are in for a treat.
Wow. I want to
So
go.
there's a little bit of a lag. Yes, there's a little bit of a lag, so let's just keep that in mind as we're talking. Um, uh, the next voice that you hear will be that of Deirdre Lavelle. Deirdre, you've got the floor.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. So happy to be here and glad that you are too. I feel like I've already missed the boat. Well, I haven't missed the boat. I just did it backwards. So I left the country and went abroad when I was 20 years old, and I stayed away for 20 years. I came back to the United States to take care of my family's assets and my elderly aging mother. Um, I have been a dancer, a filmmaker, a choreographer, an actress, a scientific research and development researcher. I've been a holistic healthcare practitioner and massage therapist. So I guess basically what I'm telling you is that there's this marvel of reinventing oneself that you find as soon as you get the courage to step away from the temple of your familiar. And I was able to do that when I was young. So now I'm looking around and my friends are talking about let's exit, and I'm like, well, I just got back. Hold on a minute. Let me try to figure this out. But really, the the act of making oneself comfortable in a new environment, with a plan, with a strategy, is really why we're here. And my participation in the retreat is going to be leveling, bringing our minds and our hearts into the same space. When I was a massage therapist practitioner, one of the symptoms that I noticed very often was rotation in the neck and head. And in philosophical medicine and in theory, the heart moves in one direction. But whenever the heart and the head move away from one another, you have your head going in one place and your heart going in another. And what embodiology does is that it brings you back to center. And the centering is the thing that gives you the courage and the ability to be comfortable, tell yourself the truth, make your strategies, and live well. And that's why we're here. I am so excited. I can't wait to go on this retreat. I know I'm a facilitator, but I can't wait to go to be in communion with other like minded women, and energetically that we can lift each other up and move each other towards our goals. So that's why we're here.
That is so beautiful, and that is exactly why we're here. And I have spent almost 50 years in the profession of social work, and I've had so many careers within social work. I had a clinical private practice for many years, where I diagnosed and treated mental illness. Um, I worked with um, I worked with Fortune 500 executives. I have worked with impaired doctors and nurses and pilots, who pilots who are flying the planes drunk, surgeons doing surgery while impaired, working for those companies to get those people back on track. And I also developed a second career track, of being a musician and an artist, a commissioned artist. So I am a commissioned textile artist, and I bring all of these skills and so much more to really my passion of empowering women, and also building and creating communities, safe communities, for women and their families. The reason I focus on women and their families is because all the research says that if we focus on women, the whole community is going to get healed. So I'm not anti anybody, but I do believe in putting my money where I'm going to get the most return on my investment, and that's within the community of women. So, having introduced all of ourselves to you now, we want to have just a really important talk about why this year we do want to feature embodiology as our movement practice. Um, s- um, what you all will discover tonight is that Deirdre Lavelle is also an amazing storyteller, and she brings years of experience to this work. But we've been having some just honest talks. This talk tonight is about being honest about ourselves, about where we are, about what it means to age in this day and time. Um, we are faced with a number of societal shifts going on right now, politically, so the economy, the environment,
Yeah.
and we really know there's a need right now for creating safe spaces where we can heal. So that's what this retreat is about. It's also about people who want to explore this part of Mexico as people are creating their exit plans, their plan Bs. We know that this is timely work, and we invite you to join us. And so I'd like to just open the floor now to talk a little bit about where we are and why this work is so needed.
Yes, well, embodiology is a methodology of a movement praxis developed by Dr. S. Amaray. Dr. S. Amaray was my dance student 35 years ago. And I met her as a youngun, and I was the first Black dance teacher that she ever had. She's um, a Caribbean British woman. And so she was
Mhm.
immersed in dance training, but I was the first person of color to actually teach her. And needless to say, we became very good friends. I became her mentor. I became friends with her mother. Her mother became friends with my mother. And that's the beauty of womanhood. You know, we
Yes.
build community through relationship with one another. Well, the time goes by and she starts to go to the motherland. She starts to go to Africa. She's actually started going to Cuba. And Cuba made her look back towards Africa. And Dr. Ray started to do research into what it is that movement does, and a particular kind of movement that is endogenous knowledge for Black people. Black
Hmm.
people love to move. We love rhythm. Rhythm is part of the fractal of what makes us who we are. We are all bound to rhythm. Rhythms
Hmm.
are reflected in every aspect of our life. There's rhythm in our breath. There's rhythm in our organic systems. There's the rhythm of time. There's the rhythm of space. You cannot do anything out of rhythm. And the the idea of embodiology is using time and rhythm as a guide for navigating our way through the world. And one of the things that that does is that it asks us to deep dive into a relationship with our own bodies, the bodies that have been shamed and blamed and exploited. And we have been taught not to listen to our bodies.
Mhm.
But when you think about it, the human body, our senses, is the thing that feeds our brains data about our environment. So whenever you are having an experience, you are having an experience because some part of your body has notated senses and sent that data to your brain so that you can process what is going on and what is happening. And it's just the most, it's the simplest thing, but it's the most complicated thing that we find ourselves doing because to be in your body, you are giving yourself permission to block out the noise that's coming from outside, that is giving your body data that the body is not experiencing. So our experience, our human experience, is based on our senses and what we are gathering from the experience that our physical self is having. There are cultures, and the Anlo Ewe people of Ghana are responsible for Dr. Ray's research into what they call Sese Lelama. Sese Lelama is the word for understanding the world through the body.
Mm.
And that is a principle of their culture. That is how they are conditioned to be. Understand the world by what you feel, not by what you hear or what you're told. Understand the world from what you feel. Trust what you feel. Tell yourself the truth about what you feel.
Ah.
Ah. And once we're in that headspace, it is so easy to recognize that other people are feeling also. And so it becomes collaborative. It becomes easier for us to accomplish things because we are in cooperation with one another. We are
Yeah.
cooperating on the feeling level. The head is not moving in one direction and the heart in the other. So this practice, which is also grounded in breathing, we want to understand why these drummers can drum for hours without taking a break. It is the way they condition their bodies to breathe, but also you can drop into a trance state where the rhythm, the fractal of the rhythm and the fractal of the breath and the connection to universal law takes over. And all the rhythms in the body start to cooperate with one another and work together. And they can just go on and on and on and on. And this is where we start to have metaphysical experiences and these other things that they tell you, oh, that's witchcraft, that's voodoo, that's whatever it's called. But it is just humanity really recognizing all of its potential and its possibilities. So we take the breath, we use the breath in embodiology to ground us, to um, to help us eradicate the noise, to center ourselves. And it's not like yoga, because people say, oh, that sounds like yoga to me. It's not like yoga because it is based on rhythm. It is the rhythm. It is the rhythm that lives within us and then surfaces in the way we move through our lives. You know when you're out of sync. I don't have to tell you. You know when you're out of rhythm. Things just don't function. It's like a car engine. If the carburetor and the other thing are not firing properly, everything's going against one another. Sound familiar? Yeah. So
Absolutely.
what we are looking to do is to help our sisters in the retreat focus on how to breathe, why breathing is important, and when it's more important for us to, you see, thank God that God took that responsibility away from us, because truth be told, if we had to think about breathing, we'd most of us be dead anyway. Right?
You're right. got our mind on too many other things. Yep, you're absolutely
Correct.
right.
Correct. And the breathing, the
Mhm.
breath is the way we get to slow things down. I know you've been told before you speak, take a breath,
Mhm.
particularly in anger, particularly when there's a stressful
Mhm.
situation. Do not react, do not respond, because that is the trick of the monkey mind. It's the trick of the limbic brain
Mm,
grabbing data. You have to understand how fast our brains work. Grabbing data that's old. It's old data,
mm,
but it's what it remembers. The feeling tone of your experiences triggers your brain to go brrr in the Rolodex, pull out the file that remembers the feeling and say, this is what it is. But not necessarily.
mhm,
Not
Mhm.
necessarily. This is not uh, an earthquake. We're not having an earthquake here. This is not, you don't have to run in panic. It's not an earthquake. It's the kids running on the floor upstairs. When you smell smoke, you don't have to be triggered to think that there's a fire. No, it's the person's barbecue pit across the street. And you see
Mhm.
how experiences
mhm,
leave an indelible mark on us and a memory mark. And every time you have that feeling, you refer back to that experience, whether it's the same experience or not. And that's why people are so triggered. And that's why people are
mm,
so out of control, because they cannot they cannot soothe the brain. Our brain was developed over three stages. The limbic stage where we're, like one cell, and then the next stage where we're on all fours, and then the next stage where we're bipedal. But each one of those brains developed independently. They didn't they didn't grow out of the other one. They developed independently. And this independent development of the brain means that we have to conscientiously bring them together. Otherwise, they work independently.
mm.
This part of the brain is doing its thing, this part of the brain is doing its thing, and the one back here is doing its thing. So, how do we do that? We do that through the breath, we do that through rhythm, swaying, humming. Remember when grandma used to hum?
Mhm.
Mhm.
You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Grandma used to hum.
Mhm.
And and the humming creates a vibration in the body. It creates a rhythm in the body,
Mhm.
Mm,
soothes and calms. Everything is about rhythm. Everything is about the breath. As humans, for us to get back on our center. So that's a very long-winded way around what it is that the practice is. We have a moving meditation that is perfect for
Mhm.
people who are at whatever stage of their ability, their mobility. We can do everything seated. We can do everything lying on the floor. You can stand up. You can stand on your head if you like. There are no restrictions. It is a safe and happy space. There's no judgment. One of the reasons why so many of us will not absolutely refuse to go to a movement class or to a class where we feel exposed is because we feel as though we're being judged. And one of the things that we
Mhm.
do in embodiology is kinesthetic mapping. And kinesthetic mapping is us watching our our co our co our co-conspirators move, but we are mapping their experience. We're not judging them to see if they did this right or that right, or if they see how how graceful they are or how awkward they are. We are actually mapping what they're doing and trying to have their experience by watching them. Now you have to come to a very, very calm place to do that. And you can only do that through your breath. And once we enter into the experience of kinesthetic mapping, which happens probably later, a little bit later in the week, we are joined together in a in harmonious movement, and movement that encourages us to elevate our heart rate, to elevate our joy. We find joy in motion. We find joy in movement.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you, when was the last time you saw a child being still? They were either drugged, or they were something was wrong with them. They were sick. They had a
Sick,
fever or something.
sick. Absolutely.
Children always want to move. Why
Hmm.
do they always want to move? They always want to move because the body demands it. The lymphatic system demands it. The circulatory system demands it. And so you have all these systems in the body that require movement. That's why we are designed the way we are, because movement helps us function healthfully. We have healthy function when we're in
Mm-hmm.
motion. It doesn't have to be running the marathon. It doesn't have to be high
Mm-hmm.
octane aerobics. It doesn't have to be gymnastics. It can be the humming and the swaying that happens while you are listening to a beautiful song, clapping your hands. And it really comes together when you're doing it with other people.
Mm.
It really comes
Mm-hmm.
together. There really comes this this glow. The heart opens up and it glows because it's resonating with other hearts. And so, a long-winded way around, how do we get back to ourselves? Being honest, being honest,
Mm.
and breathing honestly, breathing honestly. How often do we hold our breath
Oh
when
my gosh.
we're tense,
Yeah. Yeah.
when we're upset,
Hmm.
when we're frustrated, when we have an accident, when we're
Yes.
and so that is a knee-jerk response. Not breathing is a knee-jerk response. Think about it. Because if you
Mhm.
breathe, it goes away. It goes away.
Absolutely.
The problem
I think also
subsides.
too one of the reasons.
You were saying?
No, I was just thinking. You reminded me of something, and that is, you reminded me of something, and that is one. Our retreat, of course, is open. It's open to any Black woman who wants to come, but we do focus on mature women 55 and older, because what I find is that is another. It's another portal time.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
Um, we're leaving behind certain things. We're, but we're also entering into a new level of what society says we cannot do, what we should not do, what we cannot be. But the reality is, it's a new portal of really unlimited possibilities.
I am
Yes.
so
And I
glad.
think to be able to, yeah, to focus on this age and stage,
Mhm.
um, where there's still a blossoming,
Yes.
and to tie that into the breath, I think is really important, because oftentimes what I see among older women is sometimes we begin to shut down, and it's a time of opening.
I'm so glad you said that for two reasons. One is because we have to reevaluate our relationship with grief,
Mhm.
our relationship with
Mm-hmm.
loss, right? Because as our
That's
friends start to
right.
die off, and they do, my mother used to say, all you have to
They
do
do.
is live long enough. All you have to do is live
Mm-hmm.
long enough. And it made me painfully aware when I hit 60, you don't know a goddamn thing until you get to 60, but you have to live to 60.
I agree.
You have to
Yeah.
live that
Yeah,
long. 60 is
I
where
agree.
you start to open up if you don't drink the Kool-Aid that says you're old, you're past it, you're dried up,
Right.
you're
Right.
perimenopausal, nothing is working for you, your body's a mess. Look, right? All of
Right.
this noise,
Right.
whenever
Mhm.
it is the time where you are your most delicious. You are
I
your
love it.
most
Yeah.
delicious at that
Yes.
age.
Yes.
And it is having the courage to block out the noise and to
Mhm.
deep dive to recognize. I challenge any woman on this call to write down every single skill they have. And don't you
Mm.
stop until you get everything
Woo.
down. And that starts with reading.
Yes.
Start there. That's a skill. Start
Yes.
there. Everything you know how to do, cook, knit, crochet, fire a weapon, uh, mop a floor, uh, uh, what? Just go down the silversmithing. That's
Yes.
one of mine.
Yeah.
Filmmaking, photography. Just write them down, and bring them with you on this retreat because
Exactly.
I want you to be empowered to
I love that.
know when you know who you are unstoppable.
Oh, that is amazing. And it's so
Absolutely.
true. So true. We have to reject the passive tendency that so many of us have to accept external definitions of who we are. We have to determine who it is that we are. We have to determine what it is that we create, what we bring to the table, what we are in position and hold value to share with others.
That's right. And this is
Well, and
where,
even just as I was thinking about, our introductions, I mean, I know I am so modest in terms of what my skill set is, what I've been able to do. I know that. Um, you know, and it's another way of, minimizing
Yeah,
who we
yeah,
are. But
yeah.
we're some bad women.
We are.
And
Well,
I don't see us really tapping into that enough or acknowledging even who we are, enough. We really don't. We don't.
it's so true. So true.
I'll tell you, for me, um, you know how fierce and fabulous you are whenever you can share what you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
That's when your
Mm-hmm.
fierceness really like takes off because you've passed it on. You've shared it with
Yeah.
someone and
Yes.
they're gonna run with it. They're gonna run with it, you know. Um, Grandma always said, she said, don't worry about all of them, darling. She said, everybody ain't meant to go. Everybody
Right.
ain't meant to go. And that is something that we have to recognize, that self-acceptance,
Mhm.
self-love and self-care
Yes.
eradicates the need for um, uh, justification from others,
Mhm.
validation from
Mhm.
others,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
because we're always
Absolutely.
looking for someone to pat us on the back. But remember this, and this is what Don Miguel Ruiz talks about, the four agreements.
Oh,
Be,
yes.
be impeccable with your word.
Yes.
And that first chapter, just
Mm.
be impeccable with your word. When we speak to people, we cast spells on them,
Mm.
you know? And it could be a good spell and it can be a bad spell too. But the idea that you have so much power, you have the power of influence, you have the power of kindness. Oh my gosh, it's so powerful that you can have an impact, on an immediate impact on another human being and not kill them,
Yes.
not harm them, not harm them. But this is all in understanding how your rhythm works and where that rhythm comes from. That breath, you know. We've had life breathed into us, so that we understand how to manage it, and how to share it, and how the rhythm the rhythm of the breath influences everything about our physical manifestation, how we move through the world, how we relate to others. It has to do with whether or not you're breathing. That's that's part of what and then we're gonna move a little bit, and then I'm going to give everyone a resource. All the women are gonna walk away with the resource of being able to identify how they're breathing, when they're breathing, how to draw their attention to something using their breath. And if we can do that, it'll simplify some of the other tasks at hand, because it's a tall order. What we're offering and what people are asking at this particular point in time. It's a tall order. You got to do 30 years worth of work in 2. We got 2 years. Really, you know. And I say that frivolously because maybe we have 10. I don't know. Maybe we only have 1. I don't know. But I'm saying that there's an urgency, not a panic. There's an urgency. There's an urgency about life that you have at this stage of the game, because we are in our best years now. So being in our best years means that you have to strike while the iron's hot. Don't worry about what you didn't do.
Right.
Don't worry about what you didn't do 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Don't worry about that. Now we have an urgency.
That's right.
To get it right. To be right.
Because time
right.
certainly is, yes, time is certainly more precious to me.
Yes,
now.
It is. Yes, it is.
Every single day, every single moment, I'm conscious of not taking any of it for granted now.
Exactly.
No, it's a different time.
There is urgency, and it's great because it is motivation, right? It's motivation. So we are all of us motivated to move into this phase of our lives where we can be joyful, joy-filled, be open, be ecstatic about living every day, feeling the urgency of joy. I got nothing. I got nothing. But
Savvy, can you take a few moments to just tell? I'm sorry, it's that lag. I'm sorry, Deirdre. I just wanted to use what you just said as a segue to Savvy. Can you just share a little bit of the highlights of the retreat?
Well, we have our biggest highlight here with, I want to call her Dr. D, but I think she prefers Ma D. in
Mama
this
D.
community. But the fact that you're going to be coming
Mama D.
and every morning we're going to be taking time out to breathe before we start moving about our day so that we can do it with intentions. We're going to be at a beautiful venue where you have the opportunity of staying in bungalows. So you can do a single bungalow, or if you're coming with a friend and you want to be in a double occupancy situation, you have that. We're going to be involved with going about in the area to see certain venues. We're going to have some people from the municipality of Chapala come in and talk with us about relocation for those who are wanting to be a part of that or wanting to know more about that. We are going to have spa days. I think one of the most important thing is we're going to be having some rest incorporated into this retreat, because that was some of the things that our last year participants said. We were busy every day. We need to slow things down and take an opportunity to smell the roses. We have a whole bunch of other flowers here in Mexico, but you know what I mean. We're going to do a water ceremony, because we are the majority of water, and water is our ancestor. We need to understand what our relationship is with water. So we'll be involved with the water ceremony. And there's so many other things that we're going to be doing. It's important to know that we need to have a better understanding of what money is and what our relationship should be with money. Many people are feeling daunted with the idea of not having enough when they get to this age. So let's fix that. Let's look at how we can address that issue so that you're not worried about money, but that you are managing it, and you're managing it well.
Yes. Yes. Here, here.
And we're going to be breathing through it all.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. With ease. You see, I learned from a New Age
Ease.
philosopher to do one thing: push the easy button. They used to sell them at Staples, I think. Push the easy button. That's it. Just push the easy button, because that is what makes things work. Things work so much better when they are in flow, when they are in rhythm, when they are in
Mm-hmm.
ease. And we should have ease with all things that we do. I'm not saying that everything will be easy. What I'm saying is that your decision for the way you manage your energy, the way you manage disappointment,
Mhm.
the way you manage pleasure, the way you manage all things that, all the stimuli that comes in from outside
Yes.
must be
Yes.
done
Mm-hmm.
with ease. The management must be done with
Mhm.
ease. And that's where the breath
Yes.
comes in. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm very excited, and also very excited to learn more about the way we use money energetically,
Mhm.
whether we use money or money uses us. That's that's kind of my take on the way I manage my finances.
Right.
Yes.
Whether, right, do you work
Yes.
for your money, or
Yes.
does your money work for you?
Yes.
That's one of those
Or is your
questions.
money working for you?
Yes,
That's right.
yes, indeed. Very excited, and
Yes.
thank you for all of the knowledge that the two of you bring. I am in amazing company, and just really looking forward to learning so much from you both, and will impart all that I have managed to figure out over the years, and also to recount some experiences of living abroad. I know it was a different time and in a different part of
Yeah.
the world, but there are
Yes.
very specific experiences that I've had that will cross over and will help us manage the way we need to move when we are outside of the temple of our familiar. You know, going
Yes.
to another country requires a shift, a mental shift. You know, it
Yes.
requires a great
Absolutely.
deal a great deal of introspection. And one of the things that Americans find very hard to do is to be someplace else.
Yes. That's so
Yes.
true. That's so
You,
true.
Yeah.
you
We
know,
want it
this
to be like
this
home.
week I have read about, yes, exactly. And this week I've read about a number of women in some of these Facebook groups who are leaving the USA for the first time. I mean, leaving
Yeah.
it at in
Yes.
their mid 70s and in their early 80s
Wow.
because they
Yes.
want to start a new life. It's just that is just so wonderful to me,
It
It's
you
is.
know.
amazing.
It is. It is.
Well,
And
they
I
making
and I
clearly
making the
know.
choice making the choice to live it.
They clearly
Yes,
know
intentional.
that they're
Being
in the,
intentional.
making the,
yes, and that they're in the best part of their lives right now.
Yes. Yeah.
That's,
Because they got
yes,
good sense.
yes,
They, like you said, they don't know nothing until this point in
that's
time.
right.
So
That's
they
right.
can make conscious decisions with knowledge, with understanding, with a perspective. It's totally different than, going half cocked doing
Yes.
something.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I love that those that are coming to the retreat, they're coming in, and we're providing a soft landing. We are a reception for you to come here and experience it. You don't have to do it alone if you don't want to, but there's going to be time curated into the experience where you can have that alone time to hear your thoughts, to feel the
yes,
movement that you need to feel within your body, and not be judged. No judgment here, no judgment zone.
This is awesome. And so timely.
that's right.
So timely. Now is the time, ladies. Now is the
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
What is that expression?
Now is
If
the
not
time.
now, when? If
When?
not me, who?
When?
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
And you can do it. Where there
All
is a
right. Well, I
will,
think,
there is a way.
yes, there's a way.
There's a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, Deirdre, do you have any closing thoughts for us before we end tonight? Give us a closing thought.
Find ease in all that you say and do. Before you speak, take a breath and be kind.
I love it.
There's great love for you all. There's great love for you. And I am so looking forward to spending time, getting to know you, getting to have this experience with you, and learning from you. All of
Yes.
you,
Yes.
all of you who are coming will be teachers. Yes,
Oh, yes.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. We
Yes.
look forward
Absolutely.
to hosting you, serving you, and learning from you. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Savvy, any closing thoughts that you want to share?
Registration is now open, and the early bird is going through until January 20th. So we have the link in the private chat on both the embodiology.com, so you can learn more about what that is. I went to my first session last week. It was an amazing experience. And then we also have the link to Jumpstart Your SOULjourn 2 for February 21st through the 27th. You don't want to miss this, ladies. You do not want to miss this. We're looking forward to receiving you.
Wonderful.
And I will also post the links on the YouTube channel. This will also be on our Facebook page. It'll be in our private Facebook page group, Exodus Sojourners. We're also going to post it on our B&B Facebook page, Sojourners Vista del Lago. And for those of you who do register for the early bird special through January 20th, you do get a complimentary 2-night stay at our B&B based upon our availability. So don't hesitate. Go ahead and get your registrations in. It's going to be an amazing opportunity. We're going to have a great time, and we look forward to seeing you in February. So, ladies, with that being said, I'm going to see you all very soon. Thanks so much. This has been great. Thank you again.
Thank
Que te vaya
you.
bien.
Good night. Blessings.